Hey there, winners! Welcome back to Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Have you ever started a sentence and had no idea where it was going to end up? Well, that's pretty much parenthood in a nutshell. Well, they did it. They finally did it. They took something that I enjoy, something that I love, and they fucking ruined it. I hope you environmental activists are happy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about paper goddamn straws. I have Dunkin' Donuts every morning for breakfast, and I've never had an issue. I enjoy my Dunkin'. I go get a nice cold brew. It's full of caffeine, makes me a happy person. My Woodland Hills location, phenomenal. Well, the other day, I couldn't make it to my Woodland Hills location, so I had to go slumming it in West LA. Well, they're a little bit more woke out there over the hill, and boy howdy was I disappointed when I received a paper goddamn straw with my iced coffee that morning. I get back to my office. It takes me approximately 20 minutes to go from Dunkin' Donuts to my office on a normal day, regular traffic. By the time I got to my office, my straw was melted, and I could not even friggin' drink the rest of my coffee, which, I mean, let's be real, I had already drank the coffee. But it was nonsense. Friggin' nonsense. And you people, one straw gets lodged in the nose of a sea turtle. Oh, let's remove the straws. There's so much more plastic waste to target. Don't target useful things like straws. Find something else. And if you tell me that you enjoy paper straws, it doesn't sully the taste of your drink, of your beverage of choice, you're a goddamn liar. Friggin' liar. But whatever. That's just, I had to get that off of my chest. That was something that really, really bothered me. And now I feel like I can talk, you know? I don't have to worry about that in Woodland Hills anyways. They are the best Dunkin' Donuts. They pour my coffee from a kegerator, and I get a plastic straw. As many as I want, by the way. As many as I want. Go find another cause. Go fight the whales or whatever it is they do. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to my today's topics. I want to talk about some fun things, get going on some new things I've been doing. I recently joined a group on Facebook called Dads and Daughters, and it's one of the ones you have to submit to become a part of, and which is good because it does, well, I mean, it does, I feel like it weeds out some of the weird people, but it doesn't sometimes, because there are some people on there who are a little over the top, what with, for some reason, having to bring politics into everything. It's not about your politics, it's about your kid. And I actually really enjoy this group. It's very supportive, and it's one of those things that I actually would have probably enjoyed, though I wouldn't have been able to join it. I probably would have enjoyed it before I had Penny as well, getting into like pregnancy stuff and all that. You can ask questions. For the most part, people answer it pretty well. I haven't had a lot of flack with the stuff that I've posted on there, and of course I'll post happy pictures of Penny, and I'll always make sure to try and get some good conversation starters going. I shamelessly self-promoted this podcast on there, so if you're listening to this now, thank you for joining us today. But regardless, I just wanted to point out that it is a good resource. Dads and Daughters. And I have seen a few people on there who have you really see some genuine questions and some real dads being honest with emotions and stuff like that, which is, again, the reason I started this podcast in the first place, was because there's not a whole lot of that out there. So this was a very refreshing site. It was suggested to me. I follow a page that has really good dad memes called How to Dad, and I think it was suggested to join this group, and that's how I came across it. But I do, if you're specifically a dad with a daughter like I am, I would suggest finding this group on Facebook. Some of the things that people are posting about are like, it's some sad stuff like, custody battles and exes that aren't exactly the greatest. And I plan on actually discussing a inordinate amount of stuff based in that realm next episode. I just felt like I'd go a little lighter with this one. But just, people asking genuine stuff like, what do you do for extra cash sometimes? Kids are expensive. Some of the things I've seen on there were my kid's sick or I like genuinely like in the hospital, pray for me kind of stuff, which are always good. And most of the responses are very supportive, not rude, because people, it's the internet, people are rude. And then people also can just not scroll by. They have to stop in and tell people they're being assholes, which causes more commotion and more assholes. And then you're 20 posts in and all of a sudden the topic about what can I do as a side job for extra work turns into you're a Nazi. And that's somehow actually relatable to almost every post that could be done on the internet right now. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about dads and daughters and podcasts for dads like this one. I actually I asked for recommendations for podcasts. I got a couple good ones. I'll bring it back to that towards the end of the episode. But the people on there are very responsive. So if you are a dad with a daughter, this is the group for you. And I am not an admin. I just got added to it. So I'm not just shamelessly self-promoting that. I only shamelessly self-promote the podcast. So dial it down a little bit. One thing I wanted to talk about today was as I was leaving my Dunkin' Donuts the other day, there was a dude with a stroller, a Nuna stroller, just like mine. So I walked up to him and I was like, bro, I dig your stroller. Is that the Nuna stroller? And he was like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I got the same one, bro. Let's talk about strollers. I swear to God, I talked to this guy about strollers and other things that I never thought I would talk about for probably 20 minutes. I am now the guy who is talking to other people about fucking strollers. That's where I am at in life. I don't have a problem necessarily with it, but I never thought that I would be there to haplessly strike up a conversation with a fellow bro about his stroller. But here I am, age 32, 6-week-old daughter, talking about strollers when I don't even have my daughter with me, mind you. I was going alone. I didn't have my stroller, but maybe it would be weird if it were anything else, but it was fine. Me and this dude had a great conversation about strollers and how convenient they've become. But I'm now the guy who walks up to people and talks about strollers. Congratulations. I am a dad. Full blown. Can't wait to start going on camping trips, which I do love to do, and talking to other people who are camping about how amazing my grills are. And so, what's weird is that's actually stuff that I do already. So it's not that far out of the realm of possibility. The only piece of the puzzle I was missing is Penelope and my wife, Sarah. So that's all there now, which is great. I love it. But I never in my life thought I would be the person who would be striking up a fucking conversation about strollers. But here I am. Expectant fathers, new dads, you too will become the stroller guy. And now I am also judging people on their strollers because of the nonsense we went through with our stroller selection process. And as I mentioned in a previous podcast about how expensive things are, I am like, oh, you only got that stroller? Or I'm like, oh, you got that good new stroller. You know what I'm talking about? Not that none of those are all obviously brands. I only know my brand, which I do like. But my God, I am just a stroller elitist now. I'm part of a very special group of people who have a very special stroller, And then, of course, I'm driving down the street. There was 5 or 6 women all together, different strollers, and I'm turning to check out their strollers like, oh, I wonder what stroller you have. What stroller do we have here? And I'm like, ugh, it's like almost head slapping in the way where I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. But I don't have a problem with it, I guess. But it's just a new part of my life now I'm getting used to. And again, new dads, you too will be there soon. Don't you worry. It's coming. And I, for sure, never thought that it would. But here I am. Next up on the docket, dialing back to my expensive things episode once again. My kid, and I said she liked the Mamaroo here and there, a very expensive Mamaroo, but she hates sitting in that thing for the most part now. She loved the Boppy. That's what I swore by, these Boppy pillows. I still do for younger kids, but now she can't be bothered to live in one of those. No. No. And the Boppy was inexpensive, but the Mamaroo was really expensive. And again, luckily, it was something that was gifted to us. But it's one of those things where now I kind of wish I could be like, dude, just send the cash. We'll take the cash. I could make that. The baby will love all the cash. So now she's in. We got from my mother-in-law, had bought a very inexpensive Fisher-Price bouncer. It's a wireframe fabric bouncer. Not expensive. 40, maybe $60. Has a vibrating feature, a music feature, blah, blah, blah. And she couldn't be happier. This is like when you buy a cat a toy and they like the box better than the toy. My kid loves the cheap stuff. And thank God. Thank God. Let's hope when it comes to cars and when it comes to makeup and stuff, go with the cheap stuff. We'll all love the cheap stuff. But right now, you kind of over prepare when you have a kid. So you want to have the top of the line, the best of the best. And I've found that in almost every best of the best aspect we've had, and I guess I'm not really talking best of the best for us, but I mean some of the expensive stuff that we thought would be game changers have been useless. Talked about my wife's bag last episode. I talked about this Mamaroo thing, the goddamn DockATot. I hate the DockATot. I stand on a platform against the DockATot. It's the dumbest thing. Okay, that's the end of that stupid rant. But these big expensive things have not been very functional for Penny. They've been functional as they serve their intended purpose to exist, but they haven't been useful to her. She enjoyed a few rides in the Mamaroo, and now she doesn't like it. It's too, maybe it's not. I guess the bouncer we have now still has a strap on it, but she kind of sits there. She likes it. She bounces. She can bounce herself. That's what she's doing. And I think she's really enjoying it. She's starting to she'll sit in it. She'll realize when she kicks or when she punches a little bit that she bounces, and then she continues to do that, and she's giving herself a good time, which is great. It gives us a little bit of a break. She's been very active lately, so having her be able to sit down for a few minutes is kind of a joy. You know what I mean? So I go back to what I was saying a while ago about you don't have to live in the expensive things world. I don't want to say that newborn babies are like cats, but they don't know the difference in price. They only know the difference in how their body feels when they're in something. So think about it that way. They don't give a shit if it's the name brand or the knockoff brand. They're just going to like what they like. And unfortunately, in baby stuff, the return policies is generally if you open it, you are no longer allowed to return it. I just found out because I had to buy my boss not a stroller, but a baby seat and install it in his car. I found out that they're returnable 100% until you open them. And I'm like, what happens if I open it and it's not what I wanted? That's it. You're stuck with and they're expensive, $300 for the mid-range ones. They're nice, but just remember, once you open that shit, it's game over. So again, I live in the world of maybe under-prepare with toys and stuff, not for anything else. Definitely over-prepare in sleep, over-prepare in eating and getting some time to yourself, because once you have this kid, you're going to have very little time to yourself. Enjoy it while you can, because the new joy of having the kid will take over for that. And it is one of my favorite things, be spending time with my daughter. But you're gonna, and it's okay to be like, hey, God, I really miss having a time out. I miss going out for a beer without having to worry about me coming home to my kid or leaving my wife alone at the house. It's something, it's real. And we're humans. We're allowed, to err as human, and I'm airing that sometimes, anyone can agree that has had kids, that there are times you're like, oh, it'd be nice to go out without having to worry about, your kid being with a babysitter or, you not doing anything. Well, you should never do anything stupid. So that's not really what I'm talking about. But it's fine. It's normal. Relax. Don't feel like an asshole if that's how you're feeling. Everyone feels that way. You have had a dramatic life change. And this is coming from someone who is 6 weeks into fatherhood. So I only know as much as I know now, but as far as I know, I'm forgiving myself for having those feelings every once in a while. It doesn't discount how much I love my daughter, how much I love spending time with her. It's great. And even she's smiling now. Oh, no, I'll get into that when I go on to where she's at developmentally, but I just want to, point it out that don't feel like a jerk if that's how you're feeling. Everyone gets that way. Your life has changed. It's just part of your new normal. So just relax. It's okay. Put your feet up for a second if you can. You might not be able to. I haven't for a while, but I'm still having fun. Anyway, I got a question asked to me on the Facebook page, and I want your questions if you want my opinion. Well, I feel like if you're listening to this, you must want my opinion, because welcome to me. But, please ask your questions. I enjoy answering them. This is the first time I'm going to be able to answer a question that was asked on the podcast. Thank you. So Abby B from our Facebook page here has asked me, what are my thoughts on push presents? And what do I feel about push presents? Well, first I had to look up what a push present was. So don't feel weird if you don't know what a push present is. A push present is a present that you give your wife for pushing out the baby, essentially. It's a present you give her for giving birth. Now, in my world, the present is the baby. You know what I mean? That's the present. Congratulations. I gave you this. I sowed the seed and you tended the garden for 9 months. It's not always that way for some people. And I actually didn't know what it was, but my wife had a necklace she wanted, and we bought her that. So that, I guess, counted as her push present. But I don't know about a formal push present. And I definitely know in a higher society from where I'm at, that's definitely something that people do give out in this circumstance. But I don't know. I never heard of it before. I suppose I'll let my wife pick out another present for herself. I don't mind giving out jewelry. I don't mind giving out cool things. But I am a very thoughtful person. Don't get me wrong. I'd never thought about giving my wife a present for giving birth. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something I didn't really think about. But I did. She had a necklace she wanted with Penny's name on it. So I said, let's get that. And so we got it. So if you count that as a push present, then bully. I love push presents. If it's something more expensive, I'm not in the world of like over expensive things. If I can get something nice for cheap, sure. But when it comes to my wife, I do like to give her the nicest things I can. So I guess I'm a little torn as it is. But yeah, would I give my wife a present for the next time she gets pregnant? Absolutely. I'm happy to give her another present for every kid we have. I plan on giving her presents for every occasion. I actually give her a Steven Singer rose. The gold dip roses from Steven Singer, again, they don't sponsor us, but I would love it if they did. Every occasion, birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, I give her Steven Singer roses. I gave her one when we had the kid as a present as well. And so, yeah, I do like giving gifts. So, yes, let me dial it all the way back to, I guess I do approve of push presents, but I do not by any accounts think that they are mandatory. And I think that the child itself is the best present that you're going to receive. So that's the world I live in. But I also live in the world where I dote upon my wife. So, take that as you will. That's where I'm going to leave that comment. But I'm glad that I was asked a question. I'm glad I'm here to answer it. So enjoy that. Abby B, thank you for the question. Moving on to where Penelope is at developmentally, and as we do these episodes fairly frequently, there's not a whole lot of difference to come, but as I said a while ago, there is a lot of change that happens in short amount of periods at this stage of life. She's 6 weeks, just over 6 weeks actually, and she's sleeping through the night very well, as I couldn't boast about more that she was sleeping. One night she gave me two 4-hour sessions. She's doing that every night, which is fucking amazing. I'm very happy. But what she's doing now is she is awake almost all day. We do put her down. She does go out for sleep, but it's no longer the newborn stage where she is pretty much just sleep, eat, shit, repeat. Now it's up, I want to do something, don't want to sit here, don't want to sit there, I want to bounce a little bit, I don't want to bounce a little bit, need some food, might not, who knows. That's where we're at. It's the terrible 6 weeks, I guess. But it's a new stage, and we take it as it is. It's a lot less now. You got to be on a lot more, and that's a lot. It's such a change from just a few weeks ago where she was sleeping all day. Now she is not sleeping all day. She is sleeping a little bit. She is, getting her daily recommended requirement, I suppose, but it's new, it's crazy, and it's out of control. But she is so cute. She's opening her eyes wide. She's smiling at me a lot. She's sticking her tongue out now. That's her new thing, and we'll sit there and we'll just, stick our tongues out at each other, and she's like mimicking me as well. And it's super cool. And my wife and her getting along famously, as well they should. And everything's just going great. 6 weeks. She's still alive. Guys, at 6 weeks, if your kid's still alive, you're doing something right. Especially those of you who never thought you'd be parents in the first place. 6 weeks, still alive. Check that box. We did it. Now, of course, we check that box every day, and that box will remain checked forever. But it is always good to give yourself a pat on the back for keeping your child alive. I have some downtime items now. As I may or may not have mentioned, I do drive a lot. And I did shamelessly self-promote my podcast in the daddy-daughter group that I joined. But I did get a wonderful recommendation for a podcast, and I want to share it with you. I was on the road to Malibu. It takes me about an hour to get there, hour to get back. And I had the pleasure of listening to a podcast called Dungeons and Daddies. It is not a BDSM podcast, so put down that torch right there. It is a podcast where five guys, the DM and 4 players. So if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not going to go into it. It's just a quick thing, but they are playing a game where they are given dads as their characters, and they're rolling for things, and it's so hilarious. They do this so well. I have only gotten through the first episode, but I'm so excited to share it with anyone who wants to listen to it. It's called Dungeons and Daddies. They have 15 episodes out as of right now, and if you enjoy like fantasy role-playing, like Dungeons and Dragons games, and it with a twist of them being like actual dad characters, I can't go too far into it. I don't have the words to describe it. I tried to describe it to my wife, and it was a nightmare, so I'm not going to try to do it to you also. But definitely check it out if you are a fan of podcasts, if you have a lot of time. I think each episode's about 90 minutes. But damn, it's so funny. I'm laughing my ass off listening to it. So highly suggest it. One of my top-rated podcasts. And I know I do a podcast. I don't listen to very many podcasts. This one is enjoyable. Lastly, I would like to let everybody know I'm still working on a website. Not that anyone's waiting with bated breath, but I am. I love designing websites, so it's fun for me. I have started the YouTube channel as well. You can look up Shits and Giggles on YouTube. We're gonna try and have episodes. Well, right now we do have a bunch of the episodes are available to listen to on YouTube. They're just the podcast logo with the audio underneath it. I made a welcome video with me and my daughter that was fun. I edited that a little bit. But I plan on releasing little videos here and there. Maybe one's going to be about like my daughter's nursery or some of the stuff we do, like showing you some of the things I talk about maybe. I just want another way to interact is on our YouTube page. And there's not a lot on there now, but there will be. So subscribe if you want to. Feel free. With that, I'm going to leave you with my world-famous words of wisdom. My kid is better than your kid, and vaccinate your kids or keep them the hell away from mine. I'm Matt Howes, and this has been Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. You've just listened to one dad's perspective on parenting. This show is not intended to be taken as an authority on how to raise your child. Did you enjoy the show? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at shitsandgigs42. Leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, or email us at shitsandgigs42@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.